Let me ask you this. What if everything you thought you knew about social media marketing in 2026 was actually backwards? I'm talking about the platforms you're investing in, the content you're creating, and the way that you're showing up online. Here's what I mean. Right now, 70% of marketers are making AI generated content their top priority. They're leaning hard into automation, into efficiency, and letting the machines do the talking. But here's the problem. Consumers, your actual audience, they're asking for the exact opposite. They want human generated content. They want real people, real voices, real connection. So if you're following what everyone else is doing, you might actually be moving further away from what your audience actually wants. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack in today's episode. Welcome to Rocky Mountain Marketing. I'm your host, Katie Brinkley. Join us as we dive deep with the world's leading digital marketing experts every single Tuesday. It's all about giving you the strategies that are working right now, directly from those who are making an impact. With my 20 years of experience, I'm here to help you navigate the world of digital marketing. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills or transform your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started on today's journey to success. Welcome back to Rocky Mountain Marketing. Today, we're going to be unpacking the 2026 Social Media Content Strategy Report. And folks, the data is fascinating. And if you're a business owner trying to figure out where to spend your time, your energy, and your marketing budget, this episode is going to save you from making some really expensive mistakes. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Katie, it's another episode about social media trends. Yay. But stick with me here because this isn't just about what's trending. This is about the massive disconnect that's happening right now between what marketers think they should be doing and what consumers are actually asking for. And if you understand this gap and position yourself on the right side of it, you're going to have a huge advantage over your competition this year. Let's talk about where brands are actually investing their time and resources in 2026. So according to the latest research, here's what's happening. Instagram is leading the pack with 70% of brands planning to invest more resources into that platform. That's huge, right? TikTok is right behind at 71%, and YouTube is coming in at 56%. Now, Facebook is sitting at 62%, which honestly surprised me a little bit because for the last few years, everyone has been saying Facebook is dead, right? Well, the data tells a different story, folks. And here's what's really interesting. The bigger your brand, the more you're investing everywhere. Companies with over 650,000 followers, they're going all in. 73% on Facebook, 74% on Instagram, 69% on TikTok. They're not picking one platform and hoping for the best. They're showing up everywhere that their audience is. But here's where it gets really tricky for small business owners. Yes, you listeners of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Unless you have a massive team, you cannot be everywhere all the time. And that's okay. You don't need to be. What you need to understand is where your specific audience is spending their time and what they're actually looking for when they show up on these platforms. So let's break it down by platform because each one has a very different role in 2026. So let's start with Facebook, the one that everyone says is dead, okay? Because despite all the doom and gloom you've probably heard, Facebook is still a powerhouse. 85% of consumers across all generations have profiles on Facebook. That's more than any other network. And 39% of consumers plan to spend more time on Facebook this year. Now, here's what Facebook is really good at. It's the number one network for product discovery, with nearly 40% of all social users turning to Facebook to find new products. It's also the top channel for customer service, with 45% of users going there when they need support. In community, my favorite thing, Facebook is crushing it. 52% of consumers say it is their top network for building community, especially boomers and Gen X. So if you are a business owner and you've been ignoring Facebook because you think it is old news, you are leaving money on the table. The content that performs the best over on Facebook, short form video, under 60 seconds. 48% of users say they're the most likely to interact with short form video content. Text posts come in at 32%, live video at 22%, and user-generated content at 21%. It's become the place where people go for short form video content that builds trust. Not just entertainment, but connection. Consistency matters here more than virality. Now, let's head over to Mark Zuckerberg's other child, Instagram, because Instagram's role is shifting this year. 65% of users have an Instagram profile, making it the second most popular network. And 32% of consumers plan to spend even more time there this year. But here is what's changing. Instagram is no longer just a place for staying connected with friends or looking for product recommendations. It's become the place where people go for entertainment. 60% of consumers interact with brand content at least multiple times per week on Instagram, and over a quarter still use Instagram for product discoveries. So it's not going away as a sales channel, but users are just as likely to turn to Instagram for entertainment and customer service now. The content that performs the best there, short form video, under 60 seconds. That comes in at 52%. That is the clear winner. So if you're just posting pretty pictures on Instagram, you're missing the mark. Instagram wants episodic short form video. Think of it like mini TV series, giving people a reason to keep coming back. And YouTube is actually going to be having a moment in 2026. And here's why. Consumers are increasingly glued to YouTube. 63% of users say they have profiles on the network, with 30% planning to use it even more often this year. And while YouTube has long been a portal to entertainment, it's become a destination for finding answers and learning about products. 24% of users find new products on YouTube, and consumers are almost as likely to seek out product education on YouTube as they are entertainment. So here's the strategy shift. Consumers don't just engage with brand content on YouTube. They want brands to actually show up on the platform. YouTube is one of the only platforms where longer content still thrives, and that makes sense. So if you've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel, if you have a podcast and you're not turning on the video, turn it on. If you've been sleeping on YouTube because you think it's too much work, this is your sign. Product education content on YouTube is becoming a major driver of purchase decisions. Stop sleeping on YouTube. And then there's TikTok, the platform that everyone's been talking about for the last few years. Here is the reality. TikTok is almost entirely driven by Gen Z. 72% of Gen Z consumers have TikTok accounts. And for Gen Z, TikTok isn't just a social network. It is a search engine, news source, birthplace of pop culture, and a shopping mall all in one. Like I said in a previous episode, there is new ownership, there's algorithm shifts. So TikTok's kind of crazy right now. Go listen to that episode. I just released it a couple weeks ago. If you think that your TikTok is acting a little funky, check out that episode because there is new ownership of TikTok here in the US of A. If your target audience is Gen Z, you need to be on TikTok. But if you're targeting baby boomers or even Gen X, TikTok might not be worth your time, and that's okay. Not every platform is for every business. The content that works on TikTok, 60% engage with short form video, under 60 seconds. Long form video comes in at number 2, and then GIFs and memes come in at 15%. The thing about TikTok is this: it rewards entertainment and authenticity over polish. If you're trying to make everything perfect, you are going to struggle on TikTok. Let's take a quick break. I want to tell you about something that might be exactly what you need to hear right now. If you're listening to all of this data and thinking, Katie, this is great, but I don't have time to create content for 4 different platforms, manage different posting schedules, and figure out what my audience actually wants on each one, I hear you. That's exactly what we do at Next Step Social. We help business owners just like you show up strategically on social media without burning out or wasting time on platforms that don't actually move the needle for your business. We'll help you figure out which platforms are worth your time, what content your audience is actually asking for, and how to create a strategy that builds authority, generates leads, and grows your business without you having to post 7 times a day. If you're curious about working together, head over to nextstepsocial.com. Let's talk about how to simplify your content and amplify your results. All right, let's get back to the show. Now, here's where things get really interesting. And honestly, this is the part that I think is the most important for you to understand as a business owner. We've talked about which platforms matter and what kind of content works on each one, but let's talk about the elephant in the room: AI-generated content. According to the data, 70% of marketers consider their team's social content strategy very effective. So we're all patting ourselves on the back saying, yeah, we're doing a great job. And consumers largely agree. They say brands do a great job keeping up with trends and publishing entertaining content. But here is the disconnect. When it comes to 2026 priorities, consumers and marketers are on completely different pages. I don't even know if they're in the same book, folks. Marketers are making AI-generated content a top investment. They're leaning into episodic series, long-term influencer partnerships, surprise and delight moments, and audience engagement in smaller digital spaces. But consumers, they want human-generated content as their number one priority. They want it personalized, they want customer service, they want social commerce, they want audience engagement in small digital spaces, and they want collaborations with other companies. Do you see the gap here? Marketers want AI-generated content, consumers want human-generated content. Now, let's be clear, AI isn't the enemy. In fact, marketers are most likely to use AI tools for copy content creation, image content creation, content editing, video content creation, and performance reporting and analytics. And that makes sense. AI can help you work faster and smarter. But here is the problem. Leaders want AI-generated content, but they need AI-driven social intelligence. You might say, Katie, what does that mean? It means the real potential of AI for marketers isn't content creation. It's content analysis. AI can help you gather timely audience insights. It can show you what users actually care about, what they're curious about, what they're craving, and that's the data you need to produce content that cuts through all the noise. So if you're using AI to write all your captions and create all your images, but you're not using it to understand your audience, you're missing the bigger opportunity here. And here's the other thing. Only 40% of marketers are using AI tools for performance reporting and analysis. That is a huge missed opportunity. Because the marketers who win this year in 2026 aren't the ones who automate everything. They're the ones who use AI to get smarter about what their audience wants and then show up as real humans to deliver it. Folks, having a podcast is a great solution for this. Using AI to help you figure out how to cut through the noise and showing up as a podcast host to deliver the results, to deliver the data, to deliver the information. So let's bring this all together. What do consumers actually want from brands on social media in 2026? Number one, they want you to keep up with the trends and cultural moments. 70% of consumers rate brands as excellent or good at this. Number two, they want entertaining content. Are you not entertained? 69% say brands are doing a good job here of entertaining us. Number three, they want content that matches your brand values. And if you don't know what your brand values are, reach out to Next Step Social. That's what we do. We can help you with that. 64% say that this matters. If you're not lining up with your brand values with the way you present your content, that's a problem. Number 4, they want you to interact with them. Respond to comments, answer questions, acknowledge reactions. 61% say brands are doing okay here, but there is room for improvement. Number 5, they want truly original content. 56% say brands are doing well, but 43% say brands are only fair or are poor at this. That is a huge gap. And last but not least, number 6, they want you to respond to crises. 51% say brands handle this well, but almost half say brands are just okay or actually poor at managing crises. I actually have an entire podcast episode, we'll link to it in the show notes, about handling crisis management. If there is something that happens at your company, are you prepared to handle it? Do you have a response plan ready? You need to have an action plan ready to go. Here's the bottom line. Consumers don't just want you to post anymore. It's too easy, especially with AI. They don't want just more noise. They want you to engage. They want you to be real. They want you to show up as a human, not a content machine. And this is where a lot of business owners get stuck, because creating content is one thing. But engaging with your audience, responding to comments, building community, that takes time and intention. And if you're trying to do all of that while also running your business, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But here's the thing. You don't have to do it all. You just have to do it strategically. And that's where having a clear content strategy comes in. When you know which platforms matter for your business, what content your audience wants, and how to show up consistently without burning out, social media stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like a growth engine. So here's what I want you to take away from today's episode. Number 1, stop trying to be on every platform. Look at your audience. Where are they spending their time? What are they looking for when they show up there? Pick 1 or 2 platforms and commit to showing up there strategically. Number 2, stop chasing AI-generated content just because everyone else is. Your audience wants to hear from you. They want your voice, your perspective, your humanity. Use AI to help you work smarter, not to replace you. Number 3, prioritize engagement over volume. It's better to post twice a week and actually respond to your audience than to post 300 times a day and ghost everyone in the comments. And number 4, if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, ask for help. You don't have to figure this out alone. At Next Step Social, we help business owners create social media strategies that actually work. We'll help you figure out which platforms matter for your business, what content your audience actually wants, and how to show up consistently without burning out. We do it all based on the data, not trends, based on strategy, not guesswork. Here's the bottom line. The social media landscape in 2026, it is shifting. And the brands that wins are the ones who understand what their audience actually want and show up to deliver it. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to post every day. And you definitely don't need to let AI take over your entire content strategy. You just need to be intentional, strategic, and human. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. I hope you're leaving with valuable insights and the inspiration to lead your market. If you've enjoyed our time together and found today's podcast episode useful, I have a small favor to ask of you. Please hit that subscribe button to stay updated with the latest episodes. And if you know someone who could benefit from these episodes, maybe a fellow business leader or an aspiring entrepreneur, go ahead and share this episode with them. Let's spread the knowledge and grow together. Also, I'd love to hear from you and continue the conversation beyond the podcast. Visit me at katiebrinkley.com to connect, to find more resources, or just to share your journey. And be sure to pick up your copy of my new book, The Social Shift, at katiebrinkley.com/book. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Katie Brinkley, and I can't wait to dive into more strategies and stories with you on the next episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Let's keep on taking your marketing to new heights.